I got a doozy for you guys. Log into my account after Sunday Night Football. The review of your claim is suspended until we receive photos of the following notarized documents. A certificate confirming that you do not have a gambling addiction.
Who issues that? Where do you go to get your certified not degen certificate? Welcome in. It's Behind the Lines, purifying sports betting, winning with SX. I'm Shane. Pace is here. Gosu in the house on today's show. Lots of football. Missouri is open for business. ESPN Bet becomes Score Bet, and much, much more. All right, guys. For all of you out there in the audience, we are shaking things up a little bit here on the show. We're going to be kind of playing with the format a little bit over the coming weeks and months, and we're hoping that you're going to weigh in. Let us know what's working, what isn't working. But to kick things off with one of the changes, we're going to knock off the grind right off the top here. And that's why we got Gosu in the house. And Gosu, maybe you'll stick around and chat some of the other topics with us. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, cool stuff, man. All right, well, let's get right to it then. We're going to just do a quick recap of last week. And sorry, John, but you didn't do very well in college football.
No.
All right, starting with the bad news there. You went 1 out of 5. So 1 win, 4 losses in college football. All right, we'll put that to the side. Let's get to the good news. You fucking crushed NFL. It was pretty incredible. Now, we are recording on Monday morning, which means the Monday Nighter hasn't happened, and that is one of your calls. But the other 4 picks you gave us, you went 4 for 4. So nice work there, man. And if the Giants-Patriots go under 47.5 tonight on Monday night, you will have a clean sweep in the NFL. So fingers crossed for that one. All right, buddy. But why don't you give us your preview for the week ahead? What are we looking at?
Yeah, so the schedule's trimmed down, right? We're in conference championship weekend. So the first game I wanted to go through was UNLV at Boise State in the Mountain West Conference Championship. So this line is Boise -3, 3.5. They met earlier in the season already, and Boise won by multiple scores. I think they had close to 600 yards. Now, Boise's without their quarterback, Maddox Madsen. I think he's not going to play in this game. I guess it's not technically decided, but he's been out for a little bit. So their offense has definitely taken a little bit of a hit. This is not the Boise domination that we expect year in and year out in this conference, but I still hold on to the idea that this UNLV team is fraudulent. A lot of us were on that really early in the season. We've been saying that all season long. A lot of people, I think, have actually recanted that, and they're kind of on board with this team now that they've settled on their quarterback and they have an identity. But I have to take Boise at home on the Smurf turf outside, laying the -3 flat at home. I took -115 on that. I think if you can get that number, definitely do that. I would still take the 3.5. I make it closer to a touchdown. So anything to me under 6, I would play on Boise. And I look forward to going against the sharp money out there that's going to be trying to wise guide themselves into UNLV.
All right.
The next game, I like the North Texas Tulane over. We'll get to why, but the North Texas team, I think they've scored 50 in 4 of their last 5 games on their own. This is a team that is Swiss cheese on defense, but high flying on offense. We bet their overs live all the time when they look like they're dominating. So Tulane playing at home in this game. I want to say this. I think this line is Tulane's a slight underdog, about 2.5. Ironically, both of these coaches are leaving to take SEC coaching jobs, but they're coaching through these games. And I think both of them in their deals have agreed that they'll be able to coach into the playoff. The winner of this game does get into the playoff. Both of these teams will probably be ranked by the committee on Tuesday night. So the winner is in. But Tulane being an underdog is interesting. I definitely would like them on the side probably as well. But to me, the safest play is just the over 65.5. I know that's an incredibly high number. But 66 actually strangely one of the highest quote unquote key numbers, meaning it occurs well over 2% of the time. So getting that 65.5, I think actually matters in this spot. Not really expecting much weather. We're in the deep south there. So looking forward to some points and a light show there.
All right. Over.
The next one, Miami, Ohio, money line in the MAC championship game against Western Michigan. They're a slight underdog. Chuck Martin, really good in these postseason games, both conference championships and bowls, just kind of dominates this conference when he gets into the games that matter late in the season like this. So not too much for me to analyze in this game. I think Western Michigan has been fairly fraudulent. I mean, everybody in the MAC is really bad. So I'll just take what I think is a better coach team button up on the money line at plus money here. I'm not really bothering with the plus 2.5. It's the MAC. Those points could matter, but on the indoor track, I think this game's going to be a little more high scoring than people think probably as well. So I'll just take Miami, Ohio here. Next, Indiana, Ohio State. This is the Big Ten battle of 1 and 2, Indiana and Ohio State. Last year, obviously, when Indiana met Ohio State, things did not go their way. I think this Indiana team is much better and much more confident. More importantly, I think they really feel like they belong. They've actually been battle tested a couple of times. That Penn State game, as bad of a year as Penn State had, relative to expectations, it's still a very difficult place to go in and play and win on the road there. And to do it with the adversity, also winning at Oregon, they really dominated that Oregon game. And I thought when Mendoza threw that pick 6 at the end of the game to just come back and go right back down the field and make it a 2-score game again. I've seen them battle through adversity. So I trust them more than I did last year to hang in there, especially defensively. And then Ohio State's defense, we all know is insane. I'm a little scared with the fast track indoors here, but I have to take the under 48.5 in this game. I think the two best units without a doubt in this game are the defenses. Ohio State's the slowest team in the country in terms of pace of play. Maybe they change that up in the postseason. Maybe they've been saving everybody, trying to limit injuries, and they've done a really good job of that. But I think it's kind of hard to break from your tendencies when it's been working so well. So I like this game to be slow and defensive. And also throw in there that Cignetti last year, when he did get down to these superior opponents, really turtled and went defensive and very conservative. So I think we won't see a lot of like 4th downs on your own side of the field type stuff from him. He played very conservatively in games when he was losing. If the game script goes the way it seems like it might. And then finally, this is not a championship game. This is the annual tradition, the Army and Navy game. This is not this weekend. This is next weekend. But I figured I'd go ahead and throw it in here. I'm taking Army against Navy in this game, plus 4.5. This is one of the storied rivalries in all of sports, and you kind of have to throw out the seasons that they're having. Last year was Army's magical season. When they barely missed getting into the college football playoff, and Navy beat the doors off them in this game. Not saying Army's going to do the same, but I just have to take the plus 4.5 in a game between two teams where you have to throw out the analytics, throw out the metrics. This game is not played like a normal football game in college. So give me Army plus 4.5. And of course, you obviously have to take that money line as well in this game.
All right. That's 5 college games. Over to the NFL.
NFL, what a theme here. So let's talk about the best game of the week. I think Browns Titans. This one of the lowest totals I've seen, 33.5. And the weather's not even supposed to be that bad. I think it's just supposed to be cold and like 11-mile-per-hour winds. So clearly just not expecting much offense here and a total this low. Still, I have to take the under 33.5 here in this game. And I think the scariest thing is really just anytime a team has the ball inside their own 20-yard line. I think that is probably the most, the sweatiest you're going to feel with an under in this game is when Cam Ward is running for his life from the Browns defense inside his own 20-yard line. But I just can't fathom much offense here in this game. So I think I'll just take my chances dodging some bad turnovers and some like blocked punts or just other type of nonsense. So give me the under 33.5 there. Next, classic Dolphins at Jets here. This is a Tua going north in the cold. Outdoors, just a recipe for disaster on the Miami side, of course. This team, they barely beat the Saints this past week, and they honestly got lucky to do it. They had like a pick 2 at the end, and then the Saints recovered the onside kick. So if they'd even just failed the 2 and not scored it, they could have kicked a field goal to win the game. Just a weird game. This team is not very good. And then obviously the Jets are terrible. We know that, even though they just beat the Falcons. But no side for me in this game. I'm taking the under 41.5. Tua outdoors. The Jets offense struggling still bad. So give me the under 41.5 there. The next one, at least a somewhat decent game here. Steelers at Ravens. The grinder of a matchup, divisional matchup here. I think the Steelers offense has just really, really, really slowed down as the season has gone on. And Lamar Jackson has just simply not been the same since he's come back from that hamstring injury. So I think there's going to be a little bit of wind here. It's supposed to be a really, really cold game, similar to another one we're going to talk about in a little bit. But I see both defenses kind of getting stops here. I think it's really more about just offenses that are just struggling to execute more than anything else. I don't even think that these defenses are very good, but I am going to take the under 41.5 here as well in the Steelers Ravens. Next game, another divisional rivalry. This is a theme here. Bears at Packers. It's actually kind of surprised by this line. The Bears, I don't think the Bears are very good, but the Packers always play to their competition. So I think this line is steaming towards the Packers being close to a touchdown favorite, which I really just couldn't wrap my head around. I can't get there at all. I make it about 3, but not really going to play a side here. Again, just looking at the extreme cold, I think it's going to be like 10 degrees in this game, Fahrenheit. Really windy. So this is a frozen tundra kind of game. I don't think Caleb Williams is a cold weather quarterback, even though he's in Chicago. I think both of these teams are just going to kind of struggle to finish drives. And like I said, the Packers really play down to their level of competition, but I do think their defense is actually quite good. But given how bad the Bears defense is, I think we're really just looking for the Packers to slow themselves down. But I do like the under 44.5 here, in this division rivalry game outdoors. And then finally, Sunday Night Football, Texans at Chiefs. The Texans always seem to find their way to Arrowhead like every year. It's kind of weird. I think they played on Christmas. And then I think they played in the playoffs recently. It's just, I don't know how they always end up there, but the games seem to always be close. The Texans always give them a scare. I think this line's come down. I think the Chiefs opened about 5.5, 6. So come down to about 3.5. I really just think that with the Texans defense outdoors cold and the Chiefs offense just looking off, guys dropping balls, Mahomes kind of just doing weird stuff, throwing interceptions. Another under for me. I like under 41.5 in this game. So just straight unders across the board this week in the NFL. Not really interested in any sides, really, to be honest. I think I might bet like a teaser or something. None of the sides excite me at all, but I love a lot of these unders.
All right. Cool stuff there, John. I'll recap here, but just mention that Chiefs game, if they lose, I think they're done. Like, I think their season's over and they're out of here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think so, right? I think based on their record, I don't think they can make the playoffs if they lose to the Texans. So that'll be definitely a fun game to watch. All right, let's recap this. In college football, it is Boise -3 flat at home against UNLV. North Texas Tulane over 65.5. Miami, Ohio against Western Michigan. It is the Miami money line. Indiana, Ohio State under 48.5. Army, Navy, not this weekend, next weekend. Army +4.5 with a little sprinkle on the money line there. And in the NFL, it's Browns, Titans under 33.5. Dolphins, Jets under 41.5. Steelers, Ravens under 41.5. Bears, Packers under 44.5. Texans, Chiefs under 41.5. All right. Unders across the board in the NFL. Go ahead, Pacer.
Overs are for fun. Unders are for winners.
There you go. Great advice there. All right. And I think we brought that in pretty close to on time, kept that just around the 10-minute mark. All right. We are moving things along. As I mentioned off the top of the show, we're trying to move things quickly. And Pace, you've got a few incidents from the weekend that you kind of wanted to highlight. Why don't we start with the Bills game? We saw a team here. They could have ran out the clock. They could have got the first down and just sort of dribbled out, so to speak. Iced the game, but instead they decided to kick a field goal. I think that hurt some bets over the weekend, those extra 3 points there.
Yeah, I think, reliving the pain of that bet for the In-Play Live community isn't super fun. So if anyone's listening to this and had money on either side of the Bills game where that field goal impacted either a spread or a total, let us know down below. But I think this actually speaks to something bigger. It's across all sports. It isn't specific to the NFL. And it is motivations, team tendencies, and coaching tendencies that we really try to piggyback when we come to betting. And the bigger topic at play here is the algorithms, whether it's AI backed or the systems that are running the odds that power these sports books, and how impossible it is to truly handicap something based on what's going on in a game. So to give the backstory on this, Mike Tomlin is someone who is notorious for using timeouts when he's down multiple scores. So he might be down 24 with 2 minutes left, and he'll be burning his timeouts for his team to get the ball back. Why he would do that to risk injury always baffles me, but that's a note that I just have on him as a coach. For whatever reason, down 16, which is 2 scores, that's a time where I would say we expect every coach to use timeouts at the end of a football game, because if you get the ball back and you score a touchdown, you get the 2-point conversion, and you manage to get an onside kick, which we finally did see, as you guys referenced in the Saints game this past week, you have a chance to throw a Hail Mary to tie that football game and send it to overtime and potentially win the game. But he said, hey, I'm not using timeouts. We have seen that before with a Bills game. It was Bill Belichick against Sean McDermott, and Bill Belichick didn't use his timeouts, and they looked over at each other, and there was kneel outs before the 2-minute warning in that game. So I have that logged with Sean McDermott from a previous season, where if you show him respect, he shows it back. So in this particular game, we have a situation where the Bills are driving up 16 in the dying minutes of the game. The Steelers do not use their timeouts, and we cut to commercial for the 2-minute warning on 3rd and 1. So we know they're not using timeouts. We know that if they get 1 yard, it's kneel outs, and the sports books are offering us a line on +8.5 at plus money, like 2.1 was out there. So we bet it at In Play Live, but this is a very unique opportunity where they pick up the 1 yard and they kneel out, the game's over. They don't pick up the 1 yard, and typically what you might see is they go for it on 4th, or they even just take a knee on 4th, knowing that the team that they're playing against is showing them that same level of respect. Well, they don't pick up the first down. It's now 4th and 1. No timeout is used. So we're ticking down to 1 minute and 10 seconds left here. And the Bills let the whole clock run down, take a timeout, and they send out Prater. Is Prater their kicker? Yeah, they send out Prater to kick the 3 points to sink our bet. So I think the bigger thing that this speaks to is there is absolutely no ability to truly handicap situations like this with accuracy when you have that degree of variance in coaches on both sides of that game. Now, that might lead you to say, well, you shouldn't have bet it, but I would have bet that bet again and again and again and again.
Of course you would. Of course you would. I mean, hey, you see that situation and you think that they're not using the timeouts, they're giving up, and the Bills will just run out the clock here, and then of course they don't. So tough one, but more often than not, that I think that will tend to go your way. All right, Pacer, I think you have just enough time for a very quick story, because you said you had one more. You had a doozy for me, you promised.
I've got a real doozy, and I don't know how quick it's going to be, Shane.
All right, well, you're on the clock. Let's go.
You and your speed is just, I don't know what's with all this speed pressure you're putting on me. Like, where's this coming from, Shane? Anyways, I'm not going to list the sports book yet. Okay, so 2 story times on sports books today. Number 1, this one's the quick one. I got an email from my lawyer this morning, an accepted demand letter from a Curacao sportsbook that is paying me out in full rather than going to court. So got a big win there. And the reason why I bring that up isn't, again, to toot my horn. It's that if you are playing in Curacao, you do have recourse. It works. Okay. Now to another Curacao sportsbook. I'm not going to list the sportsbook just yet. I have been in 1 month of verification. And how it essentially works is every 3 days, they ask for something more after the other one was approved. This includes all the basics, like obviously your, proof of address, driver's license, proof of funds, all that stuff, multiples of that. A scheduled video interview with their team has been completed probably 3 weeks ago now. Asked for new copies of printouts of the things that I sent. So if I sent them a digital copy of a POA, they've asked me for a printed version. I had to buy a printer. I didn't have one. So to print a document, because who gets their documents in the mail like that now? Save a tree, like, right?
It's true though. Yeah, I still get a couple of documents. Like my water bill comes in the mail, and that's like my go-to now. So when I get my water bill every 2 to 3 months, I hold on to it. I'm like, we can't throw this one out. We got to keep this just in case I need it.
Like as sports bettors, you have to think about this kind of stuff. Like which bill am I going to not get digitally for account verification? Anyways. Last night after Sunday Night Football, I'm like, all right, let's see where I'm at with my verification. And by the way, they don't email me saying we now need this. You have to log in each time. You go through this portal of appealing that your account is blocked. And by the way, there's $38,000 in this account. And I think that this is evidence of something that's really important. Shohei Ohtani's interpreter's bookie has been very public since he got busted about the stories that he has and everything that he's doing was doing in the world of sports. Something he recently said was that nobody wins. Nobody wins. He's like, except maybe Billy Walters. And he's like, I cut him off as soon as I saw him come through the door. And the thing is this sentiment I have seen across the industry over and over and over again. And they truly believe that nobody wins. We talked about this with Prashan last week about how people will come to me thinking like, oh, I'm going to get all these players. They won't win. But the thing is that as soon as they have a winner, everything changes. The whole tone changes, and any way that they can back out of paying you, they will. So some people think like, how did they get away with this? And blah, 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 blah. And like, didn't they want you to play there? And why didn't you just play at the regulated books? Well, the regulated books are the same. It might not be the same process of verification, but it's the same of, hey, how can we get this guy to get the hell out of here? And how can we figure out how to make it hard for him to get his money? Okay.
Yeah, in many cases, it's a much faster process with the regulated books, faster in terms of identifying you, faster in terms of limiting you, and maybe faster in terms of paying you out just so that you get out of their hair.
Exactly. Yeah. I got a doozy for you guys. Log into my account after Sunday Night Football. The review of your claim is suspended until we receive photos of the following notarized documents. That means I have to go to a notary with these documents and have them signed off on. Number one, a copy of your passport. They already have a copy of my passport, but they want a notarized copy. Number two, a certificate confirming that you do not have a gambling addiction.
Who issues that? Where do you go to get your certified not degen certificate?
Number three, a certificate of legal capacity from a mental health clinic or similar medical institution.
Wow. They okay. They want to make sure you're not like incapacitated in any way. Like what the?
Number four, a photo of one of the following: utility bill, birth certificate, driver's license. If you've already submitted these listed documents, we ask that you provide the same document you submitted previously, notarized. Number five, photos/screenshots confirming the deposit of funds into your account. So a few of those things are normal, but they need to be notarized. And then those two are obviously egregious. But here's a big one. Please note the requirements with regard to the documents used to confirm the deposit of funds into your account. They list a whole bunch, so I'll say the one that's relevant for me. If you made a deposit from an e-wallet using other payment methods, you need to provide a screenshot from your account with the payment system confirming the deposit of funds into your account on our website. You also need to provide the proof that the funds were credited to the e-wallet by legal means. And then when you drop these files in, which I don't know how the hell you get a fucking mental health clinic certification that you're not insane. I don't know how you get that. But when you drop these files in, it says, you check a box. It says, I accept that this has the right, I accept that they have the right to contact law enforcement in the event that I have violated any law. So I sent a response to them this morning. So my response to them is as follows. I've already completed all standard KYC and verification requirements, including identity verification, proof of address, and proof of payment method. These documents were submitted over a month ago and acknowledged by your team. Your new request for notarized identity documents, medical records, a certificate stating I do not have a gambling addiction, and a mental health capacity certificate is not supported by any recognized regulatory AML/KYC framework, nor is it proportional or legally justified. I'm requesting the following. 1, please cite the specific regulatory requirement, including the statute or licensing rule that obligates players to provide medical or mental health documentation, a certificate confirming the absence of gambling addiction, notarized documents beyond standard KYC, or consent for the operator to contact law enforcement. 2, please also explain why the standard KYC documents I already provided over a month ago are not sufficient under your license. As you are aware, no legitimate AML, KYC, or responsible gambling framework requires medical or psychiatric documentation for account verification, and requesting such information is disproportionate, intrusive, and breaches data minimization obligations under modern data privacy standards. I remain fully willing to comply with industry standard verification for, list the obvious. I've already submitted these. Unless you can provide a clear regulatory basis for demanding medical documentation or notarized certificates, I expect my account to be reviewed and my withdrawal process promptly. If this matter is not resolved, I will proceed with escalation to Curaçao Gaming License, SB Gawk Foundation, consumer protection agencies, formal complaints referencing disproportionate documentation demands and unreasonable withholding of funds, and of course, my attorney who is proficient in handling payouts with online casinos. And I list his name. Many of our listeners know who that attorney is. Please treat this as a formal request for clarity and immediate action. Regards. So we will see where that goes.
Wow. You need to save that emails just for copy and paste purposes, right? Like that could be like a standard thing that you just send when you need to.
Shane, I really hope a standard thing doesn't become me sending an email saying that you don't get to ask what my medical records are. We joke about this stuff. Wow. This is real. This is real.
Unbelievable. So you're not naming the book. You're hoping, I'm assuming you're not naming it because you just are hoping that they'll do the right thing and we don't have to completely shame them here on the show.
Yes.
Okay. I look forward to finding out who this book is later on and perhaps sharing it with all of you out there tuning in. That means that things didn't go well for Pace though. So I don't know. Maybe we'll
see. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. Fun stuff there, guys. Pace, good luck with that one. Hopefully it works out. The lawyer came through for you on the previous one. Maybe he'll come through for you on this one too.
That was an $18,000 payout that I'm hoping to now receive. I haven't officially received it yet, but that process is happening.
All right. Okay, let's move it all along here, guys. So we are recording on a Monday, and there's a lot of news happening on this Monday in the sports betting world. A couple of things taking place. We'll start off with this sort of officially taking place. We knew that this was going to happen, but Penn and ESPN Bet, their 10-year agreement that was reached 2 years ago is officially over. ESPN partnering up with DraftKings. We've talked about that here on the show. So that officially came to an end. But it also means that all ESPN books are now ScoreBet. So for all of you out there in the States, all account information, funds, pending bets, they've automatically been transferred over to the ScoreBet platform. So that might mean you need to re-download your app, but your funds will still be there. Your bets still pending. If necessary, all your information, they're saying that this is going to be totally seamless. Of course, this is for people in the US. Here in Canada, we never had ESPN Bet, or at least I didn't in Ontario regulated market. Pace, I think it's the same thing for you out there. You never really had access to ESPN Bet. Yeah, but we do have ScoreBet here. I've used my ScoreBet a little bit over the years, but not a ton, which is actually a good thing because I actually have a regulated book that I can go to under my own name. So I will probably be playing at ScoreBet in the next little bit.
Shane, but let's rewind the tape here. This was Barstool.
It was. That's right. That's right. It was Barstool at one point. You're right, and they ended up buying it back with that whole process of selling it and getting it back for nothing. And
Penn bought Barstool.
Right.
Barstool was the sports book. They were operated under Canby. Yep. Portnoy was the face of the whole thing. And then regulators basically said that they didn't want Dave Portnoy's sort of party boy image or, shoot from the cuff image as something that they wanted to work with. So that became a problem. So then ESPN bought it back, right? Bought it, changed the name, and now it's The Score. So if you're a sports bettor, like, how do you develop allegiance to a brand where you're just like, this is weird, this is sketchy, like the book is changing its name every year?
Yeah. I mean, sure. If you're a bettor out there and that's important to you, brand name, brand loyalty, that kind of thing, then yeah, it's you're going to be wondering what's going on here and what is this Score Bet? Because I don't think you guys ever really had Score Bet. As here in Ontario, we've had Score Bet for a long time. It's always been Score Bet.
Yeah. It shows you that no one's using the platform anyway. If they're changing their name,
right?
The United States is just headed for, it's Fan Kings or Draft Duel. Like there's one option, and it's either DraftKings or FanDuel. And like I think all these other players like MGM, Caesars, they can probably survive because it's a brick and mortar thing. At the end of the day, they have their own casino brands all across the country, and there's incentives and reasons to try to get people into the brick and mortar stuff, right? But outside of that, I think a lot of these brands are just eventually going to go away. Nobody uses Ballybet. I don't know anyone who uses Ballybet unless you know what Kambi is and you know how bad Kambi is. And that's why you use them, is because they're beatable. So all their players are people who are beating them because they're so weak. So yeah, it's kind of a joke.
Couple things here. One is support these brands, guys, while we can. Beat them while you can. And here's the real exciting part. I have seen over my tenure as a sports bettor multiple times where a sports book changes its odds provider or name or whatever it is. Some of the time, if you have been previously limited at the previous book, when they make these types of changes, you're not limited after the fact. So I have had that happen with Bet99 twice. I have beaten Bet99 in my own name 3 separate times, almost combined to the tune of $100,000. So go check your ESPN bets now, Score Bets, and see if your limits have been restored. And if you're not playing at the Score Bet, go download it today. Not a paid ad. This is for you, not for me. I have no affiliation with the Score. I don't think I ever will. Go download it and play on their site, as John alluded to. Well, you can.
Yeah. I'll mention this though, Pacer. You say you have no affiliation to it, but you actually really like Score Bet. I know you use it.
The app.
Yeah.
The app is great. And believe it or not, that's why Portnoy got involved in this whole thing in the first place. He loved the app and the technology. He was using it so much where it was a flex. He's like, I'm going to buy the Score. Right. And that was a huge, it's funny because In Play Live members at the time, we bought the Score as a stock, a bunch of us. And the stock like tripled in like a couple of months because the buyout just happened to happen right after we bought it. So, and then we all sold because we were like, we don't want to hold whatever, we don't want to hold Penn or whatever it was. And I think, I could be wrong, but I think that was a really good sell.
Yeah, that sounds like it. Sounds like a good buy and a good sell. This is not official financial advice. FYI, disclaimer for everyone out there.
Oh my God. Look at the chart for Penn. Look at that.
Oh wow. What a peak. And then
yeah. So that looks like, that doesn't even, like, you could kill someone with that spike. That's how sharp that is. That's not like a rounded, like get in, get out. You have lots of time. That is like an absolute dagger. But I should say, Shane, that a lot of this stuff speaks to a bigger thing. And that is the community that we have at In Play Live. Whether it's, discussing advice relating to something totally non-financial that you can lean on the community for, or it is something outside of the world of betting that actually can benefit you. That is what we're all about. We're all about self-improvement, self-growth. One of the biggest pieces of feedback that we've had at In Play Live is the immense time commitment that it takes to succeed. And with our new product, In Play Live Lite, the time commitment is out of the discussion. You pick one day, Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday, to join us weekly for one stream. Cyber Monday sale is still on as this episode airs. So you enter in the promo code to get it. Just DM us on Instagram and you get the promo code and it works out to less than $10 per stream. You don't have the time commitment. I'm getting messages from old members, screenshots, all this stuff of like, they know they're not in this full time. They've got families. It's busy, but they're like, Thursday's my night. The family knows about it, right? They're going to bet on hockey. They're going to bet on NBA. They're going to get Thursday night football, like you said last week, Shane. We had a monster Thursday, and I'm getting these messages. I got a message of a tracker of a guy who made like 25 bets with us. They're all small bets, $10 to $50 max. And he fucking crushed it on Thursday, like way more than paid for the subscription. Not that that's what it's about. And he's like, I'm just so happy to be back. It's a part of him, right? That he's missed, but he can't do the Saturday. He can't do the Sunday. He's got the Thursday night and he's so jacked up for those Thursday nights. And it's like, that's what it's all about. So if you want to test In Play Live for the bigger thing, you can do it for super cheap now. And if you want a taste of it where hey, I'm going to do Tuesdays, I'm going to do Thursdays, it's available for you. Just go to inplaylive.com.
Yeah, great idea there to sort of give people that option to just grab a stream a night, one or two streams a night if they want to double up or whatever it is. And like I mentioned, Thursday's a day. Thursday's always a day. There's so much that goes on Thursdays when it comes to, you got an NFL game, but you've got the NHL and there'll be a bunch of games on. You got NBA, you'll get a few games in the NBA on Thursdays. And with college hoops, really getting into full swing, there's a ton of college hoops that happens on Thursdays as well, throughout the day and then into the evening. So because that if I was doing that, that would be my preferred day. But Tuesday's also a big hockey night. If you're a hockey guy and you just want to bet hockey, hop on the Tuesday one. All right, let's move it along here, though, because I mentioned some other big news happening today, and that is Missouri open for business. We got another state. So a whole bunch of people in Missouri, Pace, maybe they want to come and sign up and they can test things out now. They'll be able to sign up for one night of a stream a week and they can put their books to the test. Missouri officially open for business. They've got all of the Fan Kings of the world, Caesars, MGM, and a few other options in there as well.
Shane,
that's
Shane,
cool.
do you know?
Nice to see.
Shane, do you know we have a really prominent member who's on the border of Missouri and Kansas, and he actually has to leave his house to bet with us every day?
I think I remember hearing about this this person that would go and do that cross the border to get bets in, and then
a lot of people were doing that previously, but he's actually the border of Kansas, Missouri, and he just has to drive a block, and he's on the stream like in his car, like in his backyard in his car.
Yeah,
to cross state lines. He no longer needs to cross state lines.
Doesn't need to cross the state line. Just stay at home, get a setup in his basement or whatever he's got. And
you're good, Shane. Home. You're good friends with him. You're good friends. With
him. I'm pretty positive. I know who you're talking about here.
Yeah, it's Nate. Nate.
It's so super cool that it's open and another state has moved in that direction and making life easier for people out there and, less FOMO and that kind of thing. But I want to mention something because there is a book that was working to get its license in Missouri, Underdog. People will know Underdog. You guys in the States, especially, John? Underdog, I think it's sort of almost like a combination of betting and DFS, a sort of a platform where you throw a few props together and make your bets that way. Anyway, they were moving forward, had planned to get a license in Missouri, and they backed out at the last minute. And so people thought that, like, hey, what's going on here? Why aren't they doing it? Maybe they thought the process was too complicated, or they didn't think that they would be able to compete. But it sounds like it's none of those things. And here's the other thing: the Kansas City Royals were supposed to have Underdog as their official partner.
Wow.
Yeah. And so they backed out. And anyway, the Royals are now left trying to figure out who their operator is going to be, their preferred, sports betting partner. So they've got to figure that out. But Underdog came out and said that no, it wasn't about that. They've actually decided that they are going to spend more time and effort in working on their prediction markets. And they are turning themselves. The idea from what they're signaling here is that they want to go and become a prediction platform. In which case, of course, that would lead to a whole bunch of other legal issues that are playing out that Kalshi's already battling and Polymarket's kind of working its way through as it kind of re-enters the U.S. So just sort of highlighting that divide, between traditional sports books and that are subject to all of this heavy regulation in the various states, heavy taxes, of course, that we've talked about, depending on the state itself. And that sort of prediction market model that is kind of being described as leaner, lower cost, faster scalability. John, you're down there. You're a guy who uses all of the above. What do you think when it comes to Underdog making this move?
Well, so I come from states where we didn't have a lot of those ones that skirted the line. So like the underdogs and like the fliffs and that kind of stuff, like the things that were basically allowing sports betting, even though like without being sports betting, quote unquote. Right.
Right.
So even
like
though
the sweepstakes kind of thing.
Yeah, like Tennessee has regulated sports betting. I mean, like Colorado has it, but like Colorado, like on Fliff, the sweepstakes stuff, for instance, you can't do anything with real money on that platform. You can do all the free stuff. And Tennessee, I believe, was the same way, or they just didn't even have it at all. So I've never really used a lot of those kind of platforms. But, I think we've talked about this before. I just think everything is going to move towards that exchange model, both because I think the federal administrations want things to move in that direction. And I think it's just easier from a standpoint. It's better for both the players and it's easier for the books, because what's clear in the market of bookmaking in the regulated space in the United States is that there's zero interest in being a good bookmaker. And there's a lot of interest in just limiting anyone who knows you're not a good bookmaker. And you can get around all of that if you're in the exchange market. You don't need to be a good bookmaker. The market will make the book for you in an exchange market. So I think that's why these DraftKings and FanDuels are trying to get in here. And it's to be able to let people give them money on things that aren't sports as well. Right. Even though in some regulated environments, they can have lines on presidential elections and things like that in the United States. It's a state by state basis. A lot of them have some of those weird markets that are non-sports related, but like the Oscars, for example. But
right. Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense.
Here's the question though. Here's the question though with this stuff, guys. We're talking about an overpopulated market where, John's saying Ballybet and the Score won't be around. So the answer is everyone going prediction markets. How many of these do we need as players? Like ask yourself the question.
Especially if you're not getting limited.
So, but if you're a recreational player and you've moved to Kalshi, right? How many people am I describing? Well, I think they're onto something, because it's not just sharp bettors there, right? And they've also bridged a gap of people that came from an environment where they enjoyed betting on politics and other things, where now they're like, oh, sports are here. So you've bridged a gap there, right? We know DraftKings and FanDuel are going to try to take the space on as best as they can, and we know they're real players. So where does everyone else land? It's like you struck out in the regulated market. Now you're going over to the federal prediction market, and players don't need more than one. So what is the incentive for them to go play? How much is it costing you? Is it putting you out of business trying to fight for their long-term play, right? And is it sustainable? And I feel like it's the same problem all over again.
Yeah. I mean, I think only the big brands are going to do it, because I know so many people that I show them tickets that I have or things that I've bet on, and they're like, where'd you do that? And I said, that's at Kalshi. And they're like, oh, okay. Like, and they just have no interest in getting into it, even though they would use it if they had it. And it's so easy. It's, the same deposits, withdrawal methods, verification. It's
almost like they don't want it.
Yeah. They just don't know what it is, and they're not interested in figuring it out. But if it were just in their FanDuel app, they would 1,000% use it. Right.
Totally.
So it's just going to be those books, and there's still going to be people. I mean, they had to put in an option in Kalshi to display sportsbook odds, because I think the percentages and the cents on the dollar and stuff is not intuitive for people that come from the sports betting world. And so, I think there's still going to be a huge market for people to just bet like sports book odds in sportsbook markets, even when FanDuel and DraftKings get these up and running, because that's just what they're used to and that's what they want to do. And they're not really interested in trying to figure out this whole new world of it. It's why, like, I have so many friends, we go to a casino, we go to the sports book, and I'm sitting there on all my offshore sports books betting in March Madness, and all they want to do is just go get a physical ticket.
Right.
And it's just because and they don't even want to use the kiosks. They don't want to use, even if you have an app or at Caesars, you can use the Caesars app and everything. You can just deposit with your debit card. Like, no, I'm going to go walk across the street to an ATM and get money out and then go to a counter and explain to this person what I want to bet, get a ticket. Like, that's crazy to me. But I also never bet on sports before I was using apps and stuff. But yeah, everybody has their own preferences.
John, you're describing me in Vegas. You know that.
I know. Oh, I know. Yeah. But I get it. I get it.
As long as that exists, I never won't do that when I'm there, but I will only do that when I'm there. So you also understand the difference between those two things.
Yes.
That's like an entertainment aspect of my travel where I lose every fucking time I go. I never win, and I never won't do it. It makes no logical sense whatsoever. But humans aren't logical.
No, and I think that's exactly what I was just going to say. It makes, I totally get that person that won't make the move from FanDuel to Kalshi because, one, they've already got money in the thing they know, as opposed to taking their hard-earned money and putting it in the thing they don't know. That right there is a major barrier. Even if it does make logical sense, it's psychologically, unintuitive, I guess, right? It's sort of like, no, they're not going to go do that. People just want to do what they're comfortable doing. Right. And I completely understand that. Even if it is not in their interest. Okay. Let's move this thing along here to our final segment of the show. Yes, that's right. At 45 minutes here, pace, and we are bringing the show in pretty close to on time. Will be a little bit longer, but I want to do one thing for our audience members out there, where whoever's on the show, give us something that you're looking forward to this weekend. I'm calling this upcoming hype. So what is something that a moment, perhaps a day of the week, a game, whatever it might be, a slate of games that you're really looking forward to? I'll kick things off. I've got two major things I'm looking forward to in this upcoming weekend. One is the UFC being back. I love the UFC. They're coming back with a pay-per-view. They took the week off. It is, like I mentioned, a pay-per-view. We've got 2 belts on the line, and it's a lot of small guys fighting. We've got the lightweights, featherweights, bantamweights, featherweight and bantamweight championships on the line. So really just looking forward to not necessarily a lot of finishes. I don't expect finishes, but I do expect fireworks in the UFC this upcoming weekend. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And the other thing I'm looking forward to is in the NFL. So you guys know that I've been playing the pools ticket here in Ontario. I've talked about that a lot over the last several weeks because of those European games that I know you guys all hate. I think most of us dislike European games. But when you have that, you have one less game on the Sunday card that I'm looking at. And so I want more games on that card because more games means less chances of people winning, means bigger pots, that kind of thing. And so we are like done with Thanksgiving. We're done with the European games, and we're going to start to have some big cards, 14 games, 15 games on that ticket. So I'm very much looking forward to that as well.
Just for the next 2 weeks, Shane, and then the Saturday games start.
And then the Saturday games are back. Exactly. That's why I really look forward to these.
Yeah, and then we have the triple header on Christmas. And then week 18 is a shit show because everything's on the Sunday.
And that's an awesome day.
Yeah,
and there's so much chaos and shit to kind of go that comes at you that day, which is just awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, you kind of get numb to what's going on, but I love Championship Saturday in college football. There's 2 games in particular that I think there's 2 games that you could argue are what should be the semifinal of the college football playoff, right? So we've got the Hoosiers, right, taking on Ohio State, and Bama, Georgia. I mean, like, what more can you ask for in life? So I'll match you with 2, Shane, and those are the 2.
I love it. John?
Yeah, Championship Saturday for sure. Big fan. I'm looking forward to something I look forward to every year around this time is the bowl matchups getting released as they come out towards the end. So what we should start to see some of the bad ones trickle in over the next week or so. And then after the championship games, we'll get the actual, when everybody knows who's not in the playoff, we'll get some of those because I love getting an early line on a team I know is going to care against a team that I know isn't going to care, and watching that thing steam north of a touchdown or more in my favor. That's just an awesome time to be alive is for bowl season. And then I think finally, like actually getting into, and I'm not abandoning football already, but just starting to really get into basketball and hockey, and really starting to treat those leagues and those seasons like they're really going on. Because it's kind of just, if there's not football on, it's like, okay, well, what's going on in the NBA or what's going on in the NHL? Like, I have to ask constantly on the streams, you guys know, like, is this team any good? Like, are the Devils good? Like who and I just don't, I'm not paying attention. I'm only looking at opportunities that we focus on. So actually digging into the league and following it, I'm looking forward to that now that college football season has really wound down.
Love it. Love that you're looking forward to bowl games. And the excitement isn't even the game itself. It's the steam that you look forward to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Whatever. I can already give a pick. Whoever Vandy's playing and whatever game they're playing, you just, as soon as that line opens, you just hammer. You lay it with Vandy. I don't care what the number is.
All right. Dang. There we go. Looking forward to that. All right, guys. Again, everybody out there, we are, like I said, we're trying to sort of revamp the show, change things around a little bit, make some tweaks. If you like stuff, let us know. If you hate stuff, let us know. Drop comments below and let us know what you think works and what doesn't. And we're gonna be playing with things as we go along. Your input matters. We very much value all of you out there in the audience, and we want to hear from you. So let us know what's up. All right. I think that just about does it then. John, Pace, sports bettors around the world. Till next week, keep beating those Bucks.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Behind the Lines. Remember to like, download, and subscribe. We are on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and everywhere you get your podcasts. Have a betting story or want to be featured on our podcast? Drop a note in the comments below. And if you want to join in Play Live, use promo code Behind the Lines.